Hey, Oscar. So, who is your favorite BTS member?
Oh, I love Jungkook.
It's Jungkook? Really? You like his voice, eh? What's your favorite song? Solo song?
My favorite song would Stay Alive.
Oh, he likes Stay Alive. That's a good song. Well, you know what we're going to do? We're going to pick some books based off of our favorite BTS songs. How's that sound? Okay.
Now let me go, Mom.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to my hallway. This is the easiest place to hang up my board. So, I was inspired by another booktuber, Sarah Beth Allred. She did a one recently where she let Lucky Charms choose her TBR, and I'll put a link to that down in the bottom. So this one, it's going to take me quite some time to record this, and because I'll be doing it in between all my other things I'm doing. But I wanted to do something similar where I have a lot of books that I wanted to read, but they're not books that are for one of my challenges that I'm doing. So they just kind of get put by the wayside and I don't end up reading them. So what I did is I decided that I am going to let BTS choose my TBR. As most of you know, I am a bit of a BTS fan, a lot of a BTS fan, and that's why my hair is purple. I went to Suga's D-Day in the theaters, D-Day concert movie in the theaters, so I dyed my hair purple. Anyway, so this is how mine is going to work. So I have a chart here where I have all the different books that I've been wanting to read but haven't got a chance to. Now, down this side, I have 5 different eras of BTS music. So I've got their school trilogy from way at the beginning, Most Beautiful Moment in Life, the Love Yourself era, Map of the Soul era, and then Be and Proof. And across the top, I have each of our BTS guys. So Kim Namjoon, Kim Seokjin, Min Yoongi, Jung Hoseok, Park Jimin, Kim Taehyung, Jung Jungkook, BTS. Anyway, so there's my boys across the top. So what I've done is I've actually, on my Spotify, I have created myself 2 little playlists. One is a playlist of the eras. So I picked 7 songs from each era and I put them into that playlist. And then I made a second playlist and I picked 7 solo songs by each of the guys and put that into a playlist. What I'm going to do is I'm going to open up that playlist, shuffle it, and play and see what song I get. And that'll give me one of these rows, and then I'll do it with the other playlist for the guys, and that will tell me which of these books I'm going to read. And my goal is for this vlog, is to read 7 of the books on here. So let's get started. I'm going to open up my eras one. So here's my BTS eras one. I'll hold it up here so you guys can see it. I'm going to hit shuffle. And I'm going to, I just want regular shuffle. Thank you. And I'm going to hit play and see what we get. Life Goes On. So that's from Be Proof. So that'll be on the bottom one. So we'll stop that. And then I'm going to go back to, Life Goes On was from their B era. And that was actually the song that got me to be a fan because it reached me when I was in a really low spot, and I highly recommend people listen to it. It's so good. It really pulled me out of the dumps that I was in. So now we need to pick one of the guys' solo songs. So again, here's our list, our playlist. Oops, let's hold it up here where you guys can sort of see it. I'm going to shuffle, and I just want regular shuffle, not smart shuffle. Okay, let's hit play and see which guy we get. Oh, we get Yours by Jin. This is such a pretty song. It was an OST for a K-drama that he did. And I'm just going to fast forward a little bit so you can hear his voice. Love his voice. Okay, so that's our Ginny, and we've got B. So I am going to be reading Crocodile on the Sandbank, and this is one that I've read before. It's an Elizabeth Peters book. I will go and get it because I do have that one. Oh, one thing I forgot to tell you guys, I don't own all of the books that are on here. So if I am going through and I get one that, actually a lot of them I don't own, they're ones that I'll have to get from the library. So if I pick a book and it's one of the ones that I don't own, then I'm going to order it in from the library. And that's why this is going to take me a while to get this all done. So let's go get Crocodile on the Sandbank, because that is one that I own, and I will show it to you guys. Okay, I've got the book. So this is Crocodile on the Sandbank by Elizabeth Peters. This is the first in the Amelia Peabody series by her. There's quite a few books in the series, I think upwards of 20. And I've only ever read about the first 7, but I always loved this series when I was younger. I have a real bad habit of kind of getting seriesed out. I'm making up my own words now. Seriesed out at about 7 or 8 books in a series. But I really, really wanted to read the whole thing. I have most of them. And so this was going to be, I had been planning for a long time to reread from the beginning because it's been so long since I read them. So this is the first one. So I'm going to give that a read. Basically what this is about is it's set in in the Victorian age. And Amelia Peabody is a lady who is ahead of her time, and she is really into archaeology and into Egypt. And so she heads off on an adventure. She's traveling in Egypt, and she ends up meeting a young lady named Evelyn, who she takes with her on her journey. And they end up going up the Nile to an archaeological site run by the Emerson brothers. There's Radcliffe Emerson and his brother Walter. And through the course of the story, we end up with quite the mystery involving a mummy and all kinds of interesting things. And I remember really, really enjoying it when I was younger. So I will be reading that one, and I will let you know how that goes. And then we'll pick more books off of the board when I'm done. Hello, everyone. We are back in my hallway for my wonderful Let BTS Choose My TBR challenge. So I finished the first book that I had picked, which was Crocodile on the Sandbank. So this one is by Elizabeth Peters, and it is the first book in the series, the Amelia Peabody series. And I ended up giving this one 4.5 stars. I just really, really enjoy her characters. Amelia is a strong, independent woman in the Victorian age, and she is very opinionated, but she's also not very self-aware, which is really funny when you're reading it from her point of view. It's written in the first person, and you're reading it with her thoughts and everything, and she's very not self-aware of her own attitudes and that sort of thing, which is really makes it really funny. But it's also just one of those really fun adventure stories. It kind of, if I was going to equate it to something, it'd be like, Indiana Jones or The Mummy, the movie, or like National Treasure, something like that, where it's like this fun adventure, and it's not, you have to suspend your disbelief because that kind of stuff probably wouldn't ever happen, but at the same time it's really fun. And so in this one here, Amelia has inherited a bunch of money from her father, and so she's traveling the world, and she ends up in Rome, and she runs across this young lady who has run into a really difficult situation. Her name is Evelyn, and she rescues her on the streets, and Evelyn becomes her companion, and they end up going on this trip together to Egypt that Amelia was going on. And so they head to Egypt, and there they run across a pair of brothers the Emerson brothers, who are archaeologists, and they end up connecting throughout the book. They end up having to deal with a mummy that appears at their campsite when they are at the archaeological dig, and it ends up being quite an adventure. So I really, really enjoyed this. I'm looking forward to reading the rest of the series. I've only ever read about 7 or 8 in the series, and it's like a 22 book series, I believe. And so I'm planning a whole full reread of the series. So that is that one. So we are going to pick another book. So I have my music here again. So as you know from watching already, basically I have a playlist to go with the top with all of my guys, each of my guys, and then I have a playlist for picking this side, which has the different eras on it. So, and I'm going to just shuffle that playlist and see what I get. So let's first of all pick one of the guys. So I need to go to my library. So it's on shuffle. So I'm going to hit play and we'll see what we get. We've got Love Me Again. That's V. Oh, just a second. It's going through it's playing through my phone, which is really funny. Okay, let's actually have it play on the iPad. Okay, there we go. So we've got Love Me. I'm going to fast forward this so you guys can... Okay, so that's V. So we've got him right here. So it's going to be something in this column. And now let's go to my eras. So, BTS eras. Okay, and I'm on shuffle. So let's hit play and see what comes up. Okay, so we got Isle. So that's the Love Yourself era. So it looks like we are going to be reading Cat to the Dogs by Shirley Rousseau Murphy. And it's really funny that both of the ones that I picked so far are ones that I actually own, because there's a lot of these that I have to get out from the library. So I will be reading Cat to the Dogs, which is the 5th one in that series, in the Joe Gray mystery series. And I will let you guys know what I think of it. Hello everyone, I am back, and I made these to cover up my the books that I've actually read. So it's just the BTS logo, so I can cover up Crocodile on the Sandbank, and now I can cover up the Shirley Rousseau Murphy one. But so I had Cat to the Dogs on there, but I ended up reading instead. I realized that I hadn't read the 4th book yet, which is Cat in the Dark. So that's actually the one I read instead. So this one here, it's the 4th book in the Joe Gray mystery series. And in this one, Joe and Dulcie discover a new tomcat in town who has the same ability of speech as they do. And he is involved in some robberies that are going on. And so they have to try and figure out what they're going to do, because they don't want word to get out that they're that a cat is actually assisting with these robberies and everything. And then further mysteries happen, and it's lots of intrigue going on. So this is the 4th book in the series. I gave this one 3.5 stars. Of the 4 that I've read so far, this one is probably my least favorite, just because I didn't care for the plot in this one quite as much. I didn't really like the other cat character very much. He was a little too intense for my liking. I just found him to be a little over the top. But otherwise, it was a really good story, and it kept me going, and I read it in a short number of days. So finished that one and gave it 3.5 stars. So now we're going to pick our next book. So I'm going to go in and pick some new songs for this challenge. So we're going to see what I read next. So let's go to my solo songs here. So it's on shuffle, so let's see what we get. We have RM. This is All Day. I'm going to show you guys the song. Okay, so RM, so that's Kim Namjoon, so that's these books right here. So let's see. Now we'll go back to eras and we'll see what we get. We got Jump. So that is from the School Trilogy era. So we have The Dry by Jane Harper. So that is a book that I just picked up at the used bookstore. It's one that I've been wanting to read. It's a mystery thriller. So I'm excited to read that one. So I will go find that book and read it and let you guys know what I think. Time for an update. I finished The Dry by Jane Harper, and I actually finished this one last night, and I loved this book. It has been quite a while since I last found a character that just grabbed me, and when I wasn't reading, I was thinking about the book, and Aaron Falk, the main character in this book, was definitely one of those characters. So basically, in this book, it's set in Australia, and it's about a federal agent, Aaron Falk, and he works on financial crimes and that sort of thing in Melbourne. But he gets called back to the little town that he grew up in which is in the middle of a severe drought. He gets called back there because his best friend growing up shot and killed his wife and his son and then killed himself. And so he gets called back for the funeral by a note from his friend's father. And the note basically just says, "Luke lied, you lied, be at the funeral." So he comes back and he was only going to come briefly for a period of time because you learn there's quite a bit of history with the town and he is not feeling very welcome there. And he ends up getting sucked in to stay and try and figure out what actually happened. And this book is so good. I love the writing style. She basically had kind of 3 timelines going on at the same time. So in the story, you're following the present time with Aaron there after the funeral and everything. And then you get flashbacks of things that happened around the time when the crime happened. And then you also get flashbacks to the stuff that happened when Aaron and Luke were teenagers and the whole reason why Aaron left the tiny little town and everything. And I love the way she intertwines those storylines in together. And I like I say, the character was so good. I really, really, really like Erin's character. So I am excited that she has 2 more books in the series. She just did it as a trilogy, so we'll see how it ends. But I'm looking forward to reading the other 2. And her setting was really good too. Like you could really feel the setting in this book. So I highly recommend this one. I gave it 5 stars and really, really enjoyed it. So I think I'm going to pick one more off my chart here, so I can take this one here and I can, there it is. I can cover up that one. I've read that one now. So I'm going to pick one more book off of this chart for this particular vlog, and we'll see what I get. And I'm probably going to do a series of these because I'm enjoying this. It gives me a chance to read some books that aren't necessarily ones that I would be picking up right away. These are all books that I want to read, but they're ones that that aren't, part of a vlog that I'm currently doing, or, things like that. So let's open up the old Spotify and see what I'm going to read next. This time, let's do our era. So we're going to pick the era first. So I'm still on shuffle. So let's see what we get. This is Boy with Love. So that is from the Love Yourself era. So that's this row here. So let's see what we get for which of the guys. So solo songs. Okay, so here we're going to go solo songs. That would be Suga. So Min Yoongi, and we've got the Love Yourself era. Bernard Cornwell's The Last Kingdom. Now I have owned this book. I've actually got the first, I think, 3 or 4 books in this series, and I have had them for years and have never actually read them, but have always wanted to. So that is his series set in Viking times. So I will go and get that book, and I will read it and let you know what I think of it. Hello everyone, I'm back, and I finished reading this one, The Last Kingdom. That was the one that I had picked for, let's find it on here. Am I not seeing it? There it is. Different cover than the cover I have. So I'm going to put my little sticker on it. Finish that one. So this book is the first one in Bernard Cornwell's Uhtred of Bebbanburg series. It's actually a 13-book series. And this one, it takes place in the 860s is when it starts. Let me just see. Yeah, 866 is when it starts. So it takes place over a period of time from when he's about 10 years old up until he's, I think, 20 is when it ends. So this one follows Uhtred. He's an English boy. He is born in Northumbria, and it's at the time when the Danes start invading, the Danish Vikings come and start invading England and settling and taking over the territories. And in history, what happened is that the Danes came and they took over 3 of the major kingdoms of what became England eventually. And the only one that was left, the last kingdom standing, was Wessex. And so this follows Uhtred's story. And basically what happens in the beginning is he gets orphaned, and he ends up being adopted by a Danish warrior. And so he grows up learning the fighting ways of the Danes, and then his fate takes him to various places. He ends up fighting for King Alfred of Wessex against the Danes, and it's a very, very interesting book. I ended up giving this one 5 stars. Bernard Cornwell is a really good writer. Of all the historical fiction that I've read recently, I would say that he is one of the better writers. It was quite different from the other Viking one that I read, God of Vengeance it was called, and that one was by Giles Christian. And I think one of the main differences that I find with some of these books is that it depends on what the general point of view is, because the God of Vengeance one was told with a very close point of view. You were right there with the characters going through what they were going through. Whereas this one here is told from the point of view of Uhtred when he's an older man, and he's remembering all the things that happened and telling you the story. So I found that I didn't get quite as attached to the secondary characters in this one as I did in the other one, but I think that the writing was better in this one than the other one. It was also a little less of the crude talk and that sort of thing in this one. There was, some, of course, because they're, men at war and everything, but it wasn't quite as in your face all the time as in that other one. So, but at the same time, because you were a little bit more distant, because he was remembering the events and telling them, you didn't feel quite as close to the secondary characters. And, but yeah, it was super, super interesting. I highly recommend it. I'm definitely going to continue the series. And there goes one of my cats over the wall. So yeah, I'm definitely going to continue the series. I really enjoyed this book. And so that means that for the 4 that I did this time, the first one was The Crocodile on the Sandbank by Elizabeth Peters, and that one got 4.5 stars. Then I read The Dry. I can't remember where that one was, up here, I think, by Jane Harper, and that one was 5 stars. That one was one of my favorite books so far this year. So good. And then I read Cat in the Dark by Shirley Rousseau Murphy, and that one got 3.5 stars. And then I read the Bernard Cornwell one, The Last Kingdom, and gave that one 5 stars. So far, this was a good experience overall. And I have lots more books on there that I do want to read, so I think I'll probably do another version of the vlog. I'll replace the books that I already read and keep going with this because it was very fun. So I hope you enjoyed that, and let me know if you've read any of those books and what you thought of them, and let me know down in the comments, and if you've ever tried something like this for your for making your TBR. So I will also link down in the comments all the songs that I ended up picking on my Spotify random playlist, so that in case you want to listen to any of those songs, they're down in the comments. And yeah, let me know, and I will see you guys again.